This is not just one storm night. This is the kind of pattern that can keep handing the threat from one day to the next, one state to the next, one boundary to the next, until the whole central U.S. starts feeling like it is being stalked by the atmosphere. Tonight, Thursday night, April 23, 2026, the severe weather is already underway. Across parts of eastern Kansas and northern Oklahoma, storms are already moving through an environment that is still loaded for tornadoes, large hail, and severe wind gusts. These are not just ordinary storm lines. Some of these storms are still holding on to discrete to semi-discrete supercell structure. And that matters because as long as storms can stay organized like that, the tornado threat stays alive. The atmosphere tonight is unstable, deeply sheared, and fueled by a strong low-level jet. That means the danger does not end just because it is dark. In fact, nighttime severe weather is often worse because people do not see the storm coming. They hear the alert, they hear the wind shift, and then they realize the storm is already there. Farther north into Iowa, southeastern Minnesota, and northwestern Missouri, strong storms are also pushing east. Some of those may continue producing hail, damaging winds, and even tornadoes embedded in the line as the low-level jet strengthens into the evening. Then comes Friday, April 24th, 2026. Friday is one of those days where the map may not look as dramatic, but the setup is still dangerous because it is built on leftovers. Old outflow boundaries, remnant frontal zones, subtle disturbances, the kind of invisible features that can suddenly focus storms in a way people do not expect. The main threat Friday shifts from the southern plains into the lower Mississippi Valley, especially from eastern Oklahoma into Arkansas, northern Louisiana, and central Mississippi. Storms are expected to redevelop along one or more leftover boundaries, and while this may begin with organized multicells and maybe a few transient supercells, the main threats look like large hail and damaging winds, with a brief tornado possible wherever local boundaries enhance low-level spin. And that is what makes Friday dangerous. It may not be a clean textbook day. It may not be one giant obvious outbreak. But sometimes those messy setups are the ones where people mentally check out too early, and then one cluster suddenly organizes and starts doing damage. There is also a lower-end severe threat into parts of the Ohio Valley, especially near eastern Indiana and western Ohio, where storms may redevelop and bring strong wind gusts. Then we get to Saturday, April 25th, 2026, and Saturday looks more serious. This is the day when the setup starts sharpening again across south-central Kansas into central and eastern Oklahoma and far northwest Arkansas. Rich moisture, steep lapse rates, and daytime heating are all expected to come together by late afternoon. And if storms can break through, the first storms could quickly become supercells. That matters because Saturday's early storm mode looks capable of producing very large hail, damaging winds, and a couple of tornadoes, especially near the remnant boundary draped across Oklahoma and southern Kansas. And once again, that early phase may be the most dangerous phase, because before storms merge into a cluster, before they turn into a messy MCS, they have a chance to become clean, mature supercells, the kind that produce giant hail and the kind of tornadoes that can tighten fast if they find the right boundary. Later Saturday evening, some of those storms may grow upscale and start driving southeast toward the Arklatex and possibly the lower Mississippi Valley, turning more into a damaging wind story with isolated hail and tornado potential still hanging on inside the line. Farther south into Texas, even isolated storms along and east of the dry line could mature into supercells with large to very large hail if they can break through the cap. Then comes Sunday, April 26, 2026, and Sunday may be the day that really changes the tone. A vigorous wave is forecast to eject out of the southwest and into the plains Sunday evening into Monday, while strong surface cyclogenesis develops over the central plains. That setup may pull very rich Gulf moisture northward into the warm sector while the atmosphere stays capped for much of the day. And that sounds harmless to some people, but it is not, because a capped atmosphere is often just just an atmosphere storing energy. All day long it builds, all day long it heats, all day long it loads instability into the warm sector, and then late Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening, if a few storms can finally break through along and east of the sharpening dry line, they may explode into strong supercells capable of all severe hazards, including significant severe. That means the kind of hail that destroys vehicles, the kind of wind that tears apart structures, and the kind of tornado threat that gets serious in a hurry. Sunday is the kind of day where not every town gets hit, but the places that do could get hit hard. And then Monday, April 27th, 2026 keeps the threat going. As the main wave lifts northeast, the surface low is expected to race from the Central Plains into the upper Mississippi Valley, while a warm front lifts north and an advancing dry line and cold front push east. That means Monday may bring another dangerous round of severe weather from parts of the mid-Mississippi Valley into the western Ohio Valley, while storms may also continue along the southwest part of the front from Arkansas into Kentucky as that boundary starts slowing down and stalling. The atmosphere Monday still looks unstable. The shear still looks strong enough for supercells. And the severe threat may continue well into Monday evening and even overnight. So this is not just a Thursday night storm event. This is a multi-day severe weather stretch from April 23rd through April 27th, 2026. Thursday night, April 23rd, tornadoes, hail, and wind from Kansas and Oklahoma into Iowa and Minnesota. Friday, April 24th, scattered severe storms from Oklahoma into Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Saturday, April 25th, more dangerous supercell setup in Kansas, Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas, and parts of Texas. Sunday, April 26th, potentially significant severe setup as the plains load with extreme instability. Monday, April 27th, the threat pushes east into the mid-Mississippi Valley and western Ohio Valley, while lingering boundaries keep the storm story alive farther south. And that is what makes patterns like this dangerous. Not just the intensity, not just the tornado potential, but the repetition. People get through the first day and think the threat is over. They get through one storm and think the week has moved on. But the atmosphere does not care what day it is. It just keeps reloading. So if you are anywhere in the plains, Midwest, Arklatex, lower Mississippi Valley, or western Ohio Valley, stay weather aware through the weekend and into Monday. Keep your alerts on. Charge your phone every night. Know where your safe place is before warnings are issued. And do not assume tomorrow is quieter just because today was loud. For the latest severe weather coverage and your exact local breakdown, head to StormScapes.xyz.